That's good. Yeah, how have you been since I saw you?
I've been okay.
Been okay?
Passing the days.
Passing the days? Okay. Rightio. What are we going to put on the agenda for today?
Me getting a job.
Well, working on that.
Working on
Anything else you want to put on the agenda?
perhaps raising my confidence.
Are they a bit related?
Yeah,
Do you think? Okay.
they are.
So, which one of those? Well, I guess getting the job is more concrete, isn't it? So we start with that and just see how we go with that one first. Have you been applying for jobs? Where are you at with regard to getting a job?
I've written up my resume, but I'm not too sure if it's like proper or good enough to send around, and that's probably it.
Okay. Right. So have you got anyone that you can take it to just get an opinion from them? Like,
Yeah.
Is there a quiz teacher at school?
Yeah, I showed it to him, and he said perhaps to put more achievements and like awards that I've won and clubs that I'm in and stuff like that. But yeah.
So he's giving you some guidance. Yeah. Okay, so you can just keep taking it back to him until it's fine. Yeah. So you've worked on your resume. So what do you think is the next step?
I have to take them to places.
Okay. So is that a problem for you?
Like the places I want to apply at, I get the feeling like I'm not cut for them, cut for the job, and like.
So just suppose I said to you, I want you to go and take it into one of these places.
Okay.
Would you be inclined to go and do it or not?
I don't think I would.
Okay, and why wouldn't you do that?
Whenever I think about it, I just get really, really anxious.
Okay, so I just want to clarify though, is that something that you want to work on, being able to take it in?
I want to get the job, yes.
Yeah, so you want to have the confidence to take it in and submit this resume.
And actually work.
Okay, rightio. So you've got to be able to approach them to be able to get the job.
Yeah.
So that's your goal, to get a job at this place. Okay. So to do that, you have to take your resume in. So tell me, how do you think you'd feel? Again, just reiterate for me, how would you feel about taking it in? Because it seems as though that feeling is blocking you from doing it.
It is. Whenever I've got the resume and my whole family said you're going to be fine, just go in there, speak to the manager, take it easy, relax. My stomach starts to hurt, I start to have a bit of trouble breathing, and I just start freaking out that
So
they're
your
going to...
stomach hurts, you have trouble breathing, yeah?
And then what happens then is I think I'm never going to get a job.
You're thinking, I'm never going to get a job. Just don't rush too far ahead.
Okay.
What emotion, you told me what happens physically, but what emotion do you have? Well, how would you label that emotion?
I'm worried
You're worried.
that I'm going to be turned down. And
Worried? Anxious?
anxious.
Okay. And you're thinking, I'll be turned down. Yeah?
Or made fun at the work
I'll be turned down, or they'll make fun of me.
for being shy and applying.
So you're saying they'll make fun of you when you take the resume in? Just tell me, can you just close your eyes and picture yourself taking it in? Yeah? How's that? How anxious do you feel now thinking about taking that resume in?
6.
6 out of 10. Okay. And I guess when you're actually in the situation, it would be even stronger, would it? Okay, just open your eyes. And you said your stomach hurts and you have trouble breathing. When you're that anxious and worried, you said you're thinking they'll turn me down and they'll make fun of me, and what else is going through your head?
That I won't listen when I'm actually working at the place. I won't listen and I'll sound stupid and
So you've jumped ahead a bit.
yeah, I do.
So that's another situation, actually working there. Yeah. What do you want to work on? Just taking the resume in, your anxiety about that, or your anxiety about working there?
I think it's a mixture of both.
It's all in one.
It's all in one.
So you're thinking, if I do get the job, What will happen?
Like I'll just be a klutz. I won't perform well and I'll get fired within a week.
I'll be a klutz and be fired.
Mm.
So you're thinking, I'll be turned down and they'll make fun of me, and if I do get the job, I'll be a klutz and be fired. And if that's the case, what's the worst thing about that?
The humiliation.
It will be humiliating.
That I can't even do a simple job.
Yeah? And the worst thing about that?
Is like the embarrassment of telling everyone up.
Humiliating and embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
And what's the worst thing about that?
Just that everyone's predictions were right.
Everyone will be right. Why? What are they saying?
They're saying I'm not going to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I obviously don't have enough motivation to get one.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? When I got one, I lost it.
Okay. So you're thinking, I'll be turned down, they'll make fun of me. If I do get the job, I'll be a klutz and be fired, and it will be humiliating and embarrassing, and everyone's predictions will be right. Yeah?
Yeah.
Gee, that'd be pretty awful, wouldn't it?
It would be.
It'd be awful. Wow. I can see how you get anxious. Yeah?
Yeah.
And when you're anxious, you avoid taking the resume in.
I just print it out and just put it back in my bedroom and forget about the idea.
Yeah. So do you really think it's taking the resume in that makes you feel anxious?
Yeah.
You reckon that it's taking the resume in? That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, I guess, is that it's not so much taking the resume in, but this thinking, I'll be turned down, they'll make fun of me. If I do get the job, I'll be a klutz and be fired, and it will be humiliating and embarrassing, and everybody's prediction will be right, and it will be awful. And that stirs up the anxiety.
It does.
That's another way of looking at it.
Yeah, you're right.
Why do you think it is that some other people don't avoid taking the resume in?
Well, see, I compare myself to those people.
Do you?
Yeah, because they are confident enough and they believe in themselves.
So why do you think they can take it in, and why do you think they're not so anxious that they avoid taking it in?
Because they know what they're worth, and they...
So what are they thinking?
I've spoken to some of them, and they've said they're thinking it's not a big deal if we get it. It's not a big deal if we don't get it. Just take it in.
So how do they feel if that's what they're
Relaxed.
thinking? They're relaxed. So is it actually going in that causes somebody to be anxious?
Probably not.
What do you think it is that makes somebody feel anxious then?
The actual working there and maintaining the responsibility of having a job. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure if that's what I'm thinking. What did you say about the other people who are confident?
They're relaxed about it.
And what are they thinking?
That I can get it.
Yeah.
And they believe in themselves.
Yeah. And, and didn't you say, and if I don't get the job, it's not a big deal? But you're not thinking that. You're thinking, I'll be turned down, they'll make fun of me, and if I do get the job, I'll be a klutz and I'll be humiliated and everybody's prediction will be right and it'll be awful. You're thinking that. Can you see the difference between how you're thinking?
Yeah, huge.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And a huge difference in the way you're feeling. So is it so much actually taking the resume in that stirs up the anxiety?
No, I think I've built it up to be that way.
So it's the way you've built your thinking up. So the way you are thinking about it, that stirs up the anxiety. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's almost like you whip the anxiety up.
Yeah, probably do.
Yeah. Have you ever seen your mum make a pavlova?
No, I haven't, but I've seen her make something else.
You put the egg whites in. You've never seen someone make an egg white, pavlova rather. You start with the egg whites just out of the egg and they're really flat, and then the mixmaster gets going and whips it up into this big froth of egg white.
And that's me.
That's a bit like you, yes. You
Yeah.
know, going in with the resume is the flat egg white, just out of the shell. But then you get the mixed master going and rip it all up.
Yeah,
You pavloverise it.
I do.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So maybe we've got to help you just simmer it down. Yeah, just
Relax.
yeah. So if it's your thinking that's stirring it up, I guess we've got to do something about these thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if we can change them, or see if you need to think along these lines. You know, one thing you're saying is, I'll be turned down and they'll make fun of me. Do you have any evidence that you're going to be turned down?
This might sound stupid, but I sense smirks in their faces when I walk in and I've got the resume. It's like they're smirking.
Have you taken resumes in before?
I've walked in the door, but I haven't actually taken it up to the counter or anything.
So you've never done it before?
No, but...
So you've never had anybody smirk at you when you hand a resume in?
No, but they just look like they've got their own little community and...
Yeah, because they all work together.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's like, I'm going to be the new one, and it's going to be like...
Well, do
what
you
are you
have
doing?
any evidence that that's going to happen?
No, but like I'm pretty sure it will.
What evidence have you got? How can you be sure that's going to happen?
Well, it's like when I moved school, whenever I've moved to the new school, I'm always ignored back at the classroom, and people tend to be a bit hostile. And
Well,
I assume,
that's in a school situation, but this is a work situation. Different
Yeah.
situation. Yeah?
yeah,
And it's almost as though if you're saying, I know this is going to happen, it seems as though you've got some extra special skills that you know what's going to happen in the future.
nah, I don't. No, but
You don't?
No.
So how do you know they're going to knock you back? Because I think if you've got those special skills, you could be out there making loads of money.
as a psychic or
As a
something.
psychic, yeah. How come you're not out there working as a psychic?
I never thought I had the extra ability.
Oh, so you're not a psychic?
No.
So you don't know what's going to happen in the
No.
future? So you've got no evidence that they're going to turn you down and make fun of you?
In reality, no.
No. So where does it get you telling yourself these negative things are going to happen when you've got no clue about what's going to happen?
Yeah. Nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere. You know, you're thinking the worst. Yeah?
Worst case scenario.
Worst case, what's the best thing that could happen?
I'll hand it in and the complete opposite will happen.
Yeah. And what do you think is the most realistic?
Halfway.
Which is?
I'll hand it in and they'll just treat me like any other person and I may get a phone call back.
Yeah.
Probably an interview. Probably get the job. Be a bit nervous at first and then I'll just adjust.
A bit uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is the most helpful thing for you to be saying to yourself?
I can get it. Oh no. No, I can get it, but just thinking what I thought before. What I said to you.
The most realistic.
The most realistic
Okay,
thing, which I said
okay.
to you before.
Next time I want you to bring a writing book with you. You know, a little exercise book, but I'll
Yeah.
loan you my writing pad for now.
Okay.
Okay. Can you write that down? Can you remember what you said? The most realistic. The most realistic thing. Can you remember what it was that you said?
Yeah.
I'll go in, hand it in. And I guess if they've got a vacancy, I might get a call back.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Make a call back.
Yeah, and get the job.
Get job.
So if you're thinking like that, Costa,
Mm.
how would you feel going in and applying?
A lot
taking
better.
resume?
A
Yeah,
lot
a lot
better.
better. Yeah.
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 Do I
Okay.
give back?
Well, you keep that because I might get you to do a bit more writing.
Oh, okay.
So you
Yeah.
can hang on to it. You know, let's just suppose though. So one thing I've just pointed out, I think, is you're thinking the worst
Yeah.
when you have no evidence.
Yeah.
So a good trick when you're doing that sort of thing is to say, okay, I've thought the worst, now what's the best and what's the most realistic? Do you just want to write that down?
The most realistic.
Yeah. You know, I could say the same thing to you when you were saying, you know, if I do get the job, I'll be a klutz and be fired. Just suppose I'm you and I'm saying, oh, gee, if I get the job, I'll be a klutz and I'll be fired. Why don't you pretend you're me and challenge me about it?
Are you thinking the most realistic?
Oh, I don't know. Do you think I'm thinking the worst?
Yes.
I'm thinking the worst.
You are.
So what do you think I should do?
I think you should start thinking more realistically.
Okay, so what do you think more realistically is? I'm a bit stuck there. You know, I know I'm a klutz and I'll be fired, you know. What's more realistic than that?
Don't just assume that it's going to be like that, because it might be the complete opposite to what you think.
Yeah, why don't you write that down? If I get the job, it might be the complete opposite. So what would be the complete opposite?
You'll perform well.
Yeah, okay, I might perform well. Now, Costa, I think in all of this, we really have to prepare you for worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I hate thinking about it.
Well, let's just prepare you for it. Just suppose you go in and they do stand around thinking, oh, look at him, we're not going to give him a job. Or you get the job and you are a klutz and you're fired. Let's just suppose.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, one of the things you say...
It is a bit stressful.
It's stressful. But what are you thinking about that? Are you thinking, oh, that would be the worst thing that could happen to me?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, let's just see how awful it's going to be. I guess what I think you're doing is catastrophising.
Properly.
Yeah? So let's just see how big a catastrophe it is, okay? Now, have you ever stopped to think what awful means?
Doesn't awful just mean like bad, like horrible?
That's a straight line. You can see that's a straight line, can't you? Yeah. Okay. So, to say something is awful, it's really full of awe. And awe is the worst reference point. It's the absolute worst thing that you could think of happening and being alive to tell me about it. Okay? That's what awful means. So,
I don't think it's quite that.
well, that's what awful is.
Oh, well, no.
We could get the dictionary out and have a look.
Yeah.
See, and when you think something's awful, can you see what happens in your head?
You just go on a tangent, like your own my own little thing.
Yeah. So, what do you think would be something truly awful to happen in your life?
To be in an aeroplane and suffocate.
Oh, you've been thinking about people flying from Cyprus to Greece, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awful. But I wouldn't be allowed to tell you about it.
No, you wouldn't be alive to tell me about
No.
it. No. But, and, you know,
Let me think.
might only last a couple of hours and then, you know, who knows where you'd be. Could be in heaven with 70 virgins or something.
Awful. And I'm allowed to tell you about it.
Yes, yes.
The worst thing that could happen.
Are you close to your mum and your dad, and have you got brothers and sisters?
If one of my close family members were to be struck down with cancer.
What if all of them were tragically killed in a bus accident?
That would be awful. That would
Can
be
you think of anything worse?
No, I can't. Being the only one left. No.
Yeah, the only one left.
No.
So all your close family killed. So all family killed. Okay. Nothing worse? You can't think of anything worse at all? Or we leave that as 100% bad.
Leave
Now,
that 100% bad. I can't. Halfway would have to be this job thing.
no, let's keep your job out of it for now.
Okay.
I want you to think about what you'd put 75% bad, 50% bad and 25% bad.
All family killed is at 100. What's at 75?
Let me give you some ideas. You could go deaf and blind, you could become a quadriplegic, you could...
That quadriplegic.
Could be bashed, you could stub your little toe, you could lose your wallet. You know, you've got to go all the way down to zero, which is not upsetting at all.
I reckon up here would be deaf or blind.
Going deaf or blind. Deaf or deaf and?
Deaf and.
What are you going to put at 50%?
Halfway?
Yeah, halfway.
Can you keep another suggestion top of it?
You want a range of suggestions?
That would, in your opinion,
okay.
reach 50.
Having major surgery. Well, no, I'll give you an idea and you can pick one that you might put 50 because different people put them in different places. Have major surgery, you could break a leg, you could fail your year 12, you could...
Fail year 12.
Fail year 12, you put that there.
Yeah.
Okay. 25%.
I just think 100, like a lonely life or lonely life somewhere.
Where would you put a lonely life?
75%.
Deaf and blind, so you'd have a lonely
Like
life.
an isolated hermit type of thing. 25%. I reckon a bad flu or something.
A really bad flu.
Like pneumonia.
Pneumonia. You have to be hospitalised.
Yeah, something hospitalised.
This is what's awful. It's got to be 100%.
So awful's like the worst. Like,
yeah, that's what it is.
like you just
worst.
can't
Can't
get
think of
over it.
anything that's badder, I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's not grammatical.
Okay.
Anything worse. Okay?
Yeah.
Rightio. Now, where would you put going in with your resume and then not taking it very seriously?
10.
Down here.
10.
Yes. But where have you been putting it in your head?
I reckon past 100.
Yeah,
100.
getting the jackpot. You've been shooting it up to there.
Absolutely.
So you can see what you're doing in your head. You're building it up like you're frothing up the egg whites. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, so you've really got black and white thinking.
Mm.
You know, it's either good or totally bad, and you're not really allowing things to be in between.
And either they're my friend at the workplace or they're going to hate me.
Yeah.
There
Whereas
won't
it
be
could
an in-between.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So taking the resume in and then making fun of you, you're saying, is there? Taking the resume in and not getting a job, where would you put that?
Here, mate.
Down here somewhere?
Yeah. 15,
Yeah?
14.
Yeah.
Is
See,
that
that's
still
all-
low?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So if you take the resume in and you get a bad response, is it going to be awful? Is it going to be a catastrophe?
no.
So what could you be saying to yourself instead?
It's only 10% on the scale and it's not awful. And it's not, like,
It wouldn't be catastrophic.
catastrophic.
So,
I'm not going to die.
Okay. So do you want to write that down?
Yeah, I think I should.
So taking the resume in would be unpleasant, we've decided. 10% unpleasant.
Yeah. What happens if, like, I still, like, even after, I'm just a bit anxious? Is that alright? Is that just...
Yeah, you'll be a bit uncomfortable.
But, yeah, I'm not as
Yeah.
anxious
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
but I'm still just a bit nervous. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Okay.
But not quite.
Let's just finish this off. You say
Okay,
it
so-
would be 10%. Just add on, but not a catastrophe.
Okay.
And then we will talk some more about feeling uncomfortable.
But not at 100%.
Yeah.
Awful.
Not a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, Costa, that you anticipate you might feel a bit anxious, a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I just... once again. No.
I want to know what's going through your head about feeling uncomfortable.
I have this thing inside me that
Yes.
says, I'm going to forget all about this come the time and I walk through the doors and I've got no control, it's just going to go way up there.
So you're thinking you're going to feel uncomfortable. Okay.
Physically.
Physically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes?
Very.
And and then you get anxious about feeling uncomfortable, do you?
Yeah, I get anxious because I'm physically not well.
Yeah. And what are
Yeah.
you telling yourself about feeling uncomfortable?
Oh, it's not going to go away, you're going to feel like this for a bit longer until you just leave and you don't take the resume.
Yeah, and you're telling yourself, nobody else feels like this and I shouldn't feel this way and it's horrible and awful and I can't stand it.
And I feel like no one else does feel like that.
Yes.
Because I go and try to tell people and they're like, no, we don't feel like that. I've never experienced that.
Some might say that, but do you have any evidence that nobody else ever feels like that?
I'm sure they do, but they probably would fight it.
No, I'm sure they do too. Why don't you write that down?
They would fight it.
No. I'm sure it's almost normal.
So it's normal to feel?
It's normal to feel uncomfortable when you're taking a resume in. Gee, I would.
Would you?
Yes.
Like, so is it normal to feel like a bit anxious about it?
Yes.
It's just everyone does it.
People vary, but it's quite normal. You know, we're not robots. We human beings have emotions.
Yeah.
So it's normal to feel uncomfortable at times.
Yeah. It's normal to feel uncomfortable at times.
But I'm concerned about what you then tell yourself if you are uncomfortable. One thing you're telling yourself is nobody else does, and so we're really saying it's pretty normal to feel uncomfortable at times. But, you know, I wonder if you're saying, I shouldn't feel this way, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Where
Absolutely.
on this scale would you put feeling a bit uncomfortable?
5%.
5, yeah.
It's low.
So
A little sore stomach and a bit of...
So it's not a catastrophe, is it?
I don't need to be rushed to hospital because of it.
No. And have you felt uncomfortable in the past?
Yeah. Not just for jobs, but for everything, like a lot of things. I get physically unwell when I start to worry.
But you're still here.
Yeah, but it's like when I tell people they're not taking it seriously, like the stomach is really starting to hurt. And sometimes it can be like I'm starting to get a bit dizzy.
But there's taking it seriously and taking it too seriously. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder if, you know, you need to acknowledge, okay, you feel a bit uncomfortable. But is it written anywhere that you should never feel uncomfortable?
No.
No?
Never read it anywhere.
And you've dealt with it in the past?
Yes.
Yes.
I talk myself through it.
So have you got any reason to think that you can't cope with feeling uncomfortable?
I guess I felt it all my life, so what's the difference now?
Yeah. Yes.
That's a good thing.
So you've coped with it. You know how to cope with it. So...
Well, yeah.
And you've said it's only 5% bad. It's
yeah.
not up here.
No.
See, one of the problems is you're shooting it up to the top of the catastrophe scale.
Mm.
So what do you think you could be telling yourself about feeling uncomfortable? We've already written down it's normal to feel uncomfortable at times.
And that it'll go away.
It'll go away, yeah? You can cope with it.
Yeah.
It's not a catastrophe.
Okay.
You know, some of these things.
So it'll pass.
It will pass, yeah.
And it's true, when I've moved to new schools and I've done new things with my life, I've been anxious, but eventually it'll pass.
Yeah.
It passes.
So let's call it discomfort, you know?
It'll pass.
It'll pass.
Discomfort passes.
Discomfort passes, yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to say, I can cope because you're still here. You haven't fallen in a little heap of dust yet.
No.
So you have coped with it. You have been able to stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were thinking like that, how would you feel?
A lot better.
Okay. Righty.
More in control of myself.
So what homework do you think we should set you for this week?
I'm going to take in the resumes.
How many?
Like 10.
10. Now let's not overdo it.
1.
Well, somewhere between 1 and 10, hey?
Okay. 3 or 4 maybe.
4. Let's say 4.
4.
That you're going to take in 4 resumes. Okay. And what are you going to be saying to yourself?
I can cope. The discomfort will pass. This isn't the worst. It's not 100%. It's 10%.
Yeah.
Catastrophe.
And you've got no evidence. What did we have? That anything bad is going to happen?
That anything bad is going to happen?
Yeah, what did you write first?
They'll treat me like any other person.
Yes.
That I may get a call back and then I get a job.
Yeah. So if you're thinking like that, how are you going to feel?
A lot better.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Rightio.
I feel better now.
Good. So
Talking
I'll be
about
interested to hear next week how will you go.
Okay.
We'll see you then.
See you then.
Okay.